All right, guys. Dreadnoug's back today with a new review, and we're going to be looking at Star Wars The Black Series. Kanan Jarrus from the Star Wars Rebel series. Looking very cool here in the package. A couple of nice accessories there. That same artwork that we're used to seeing at the bottom of the box. Looks a little bit off on Kanan here. It's like his shoulders and his head don't really match. So I'm not real happy with the way that artwork turned out. Not much going on the side over here. On this side, we can see he's number 19 in the wave. And then a look at the back of the box reveals a short bio that reads, Kanan Jarrus survived the Emperor's Purge, going underground for years and hiding the truth about the Jedi he really was. He was a leader among the Ghost Crew, and with the emergence of the Force-sensitive Ezra, he once again embraced his identity as a Jedi Knight. So let's get this bad boy open and get a look at it. And here's our Kanan out of the packaging, just looking awesome. Overall, I think Hasbro did a very nice job with this figure. A lot of nice attention to detail. It's definitely more of a real-world look on the character. Definitely doesn't look like the cartoon version of Kanan, but I just think they did an excellent job translating it over for the Black Series, and I just like all the little accessories and nice little touches they made to the figure. So let's take a closer look. And up first, taking a look at accessories, we have Kanan's blaster, and I think it turned out really nice overall. Very simplified, but you can see some attention to detail sculpted in there around the back and around the barrel and stuff, looking pretty good. And I like the fact they just went with a flat black and then went over it with like a gray metallic dry brushing or wash. It just came out very retro looking, very Star Wars looking for a weapon. I just really like it. It's a little bit tricky getting into his hand. You kind of have to bend his fingers out. But once you do, you can get his finger in the trigger there. But you do have to play with it a little bit. And we'll try to get, well, there you go. So once you get it in, it's fine. It fits in there pretty well. And then also it fits in the holster really nicely. You can get it in like so. That rests kind of loosely in there, but it looks good in there. No problems with that at all. And then looking at his lightsaber, of course, it comes in the three parts that we're used to seeing, or the two parts and then the blade. And they do fit on the character as well really nicely. So I'll show you that real quick. Just like in the cartoon, you can plug it into the back of the figure like that, or vice versa, depending on how I don't remember how it is in the cartoon, but either way it fits. And then I thought what a nice touch was to the top piece of the saber, or the hilt. It will actually fit in on the front of his belt just like it does in the cartoon as well, and it plugs in like so. It looks really good, so you can get the whole look from the cartoon going on here. Yeah, just like so. So very cool, very cool. I like that. And then we'll put them together, and you can see that all together. This just plugs in like so, just like in the cartoon. And I can't remember which way it's supposed to face, but anyway, a lot of nice detail sculpted in on here. And it actually has a color variation. It's silver, but then it has like a grayish metallic silver down through the handle there. You know, it's not hugely detailed, I guess, but there is enough detail in it to make it look good. A lot of lines sculpted in there, and some buttons and stuff. And then the blade, same thing, that comes pretty standard. It has that normal clip that just plugs in like so, and then you get the blade on it too. A little light for my taste. I wish it would have been a little more blue. You know, I don't know why they have made some of these lighter here more recently, but anyway, not too bad. Looks okay. So yeah, definitely some nice accessories. And taking a look at Kanan himself, I think it came out very nice sculpt wise. You can see the head sculpt doesn't have that long face from the cartoon that we're used to. It's definitely more realistic, but I really like how it came out. The skin tone's a little light for me. Looks like he needs a little bit of sun, but the eyes are really nicely painted on. The face doesn't have a huge amount of detail in it, but what's sculpted is sculpted pretty nice. And then the beard on his chin down there, looking pretty good overall. Just brown paint. It's a little bit sculpted on, but not much. Looking through his hair, you can see it came out pretty nice overall. There is a seam that you can see kind of through here around the top of his head, which I don't really care for. You know, other than that, I don't have any real problems with it. Some nice light brown dry brushing on it, and then you can see the ponytail back there, which turned out pretty well overall. And then looking through the body here, just really nice work as we look through the body. It's kind of an army green here, and then it has a metallic green on this arm and through the shoulder pad and everything. Nice silver paint apps through the buckles and everything. A little paint got off there. And then that texture they sculpted in for the bottom of the shirt, which is that lighter green that runs underneath this arm as well. Just really, really nice. Nice wrinkles sculpted in there. The black gloves with the fingers on them exposed, just really nice. You can see a little bit of black paint got on those fingers over there. And then through the back, that same buckle back through there. Some grayish metallic silver paint apps there. But I just really like this arm. I love the deco, how it came out. You know, the symbol on his arm just came out really nice with the white, and it has that aged look. You know, it's not just nice and clean. And then he's got like a black and rubbery look down here through the arms, which came out really nice. And that same green metallic sheen through the forearm and down through the wrist and everything, and on top of the hand for the armor there, just looking all really good. And a little silver paint touch around the edge there, and then the black gloves again, just all really nice. I just really like how this figure turned out. You can see that black rubber texture up underneath that arm as well, and then through the belt, just really nicely sculpted, and that gray silver metallic paint there, you know, around the buckle, and just looking really good. And of course, where we plug the lightsaber in, I'll take that out of the holster. And then, you know, the holster's got that nice texture to it as well. Looks kind of leathery, just black paint through there. And then the back of the belt, they didn't cheap out. You got that same paint apps back there on the back of the belt as well. And then through the pants, that nice texture as well that we kind of see going on in the shirt, that crosshatch or whatever. And this is kind of a blue, navy looking, not navy blue, but kind of a navy uniform. I'm trying to think of the term, but anyway, it's like a light blue and just kind of maritime, I guess is what I'm thinking of, which I think is really cool. It came out really well in odds to the other green colors here, and I just think it really sets the character off. And the nice knee pads down here looking black, and then they have that rubber looking texture to them as well. You know, and you see it looks like spandex or something stretched around the back there. And they painted black on the back of the joints as well, which is really nice. And then the boots just came out really nice overall. You know, it's got that nice, smooth, leathery look to it, and the wrinkles sculpted in here. And then that pattern on the front with that light tan, or could be green maybe. You know, it's kind of hard to tell. But just sculpted in on the front here and down through the toe of the boot as well. You know, which looks really good. And then the joints, the only bad part is they did paint through the joints on there, which is good because it matches the front. But then on the back, it actually looks a little bit weird because it sticks them out. So it would have been nice if they'd have painted them more of this brownish, grayish color that the rest of the boot is. And then on the bottom, some peg holes down there. So yeah, overall, just really nice looking. And as we look at articulation here, the head moves back a decent amount, even with the ponytail back here. He can really get his head up, which is really nice. And then he can bury down almost in between those two pieces of his armor there, or his shirt and his armor, which is really nice. Rotates around just fine. Not a whole lot of pivot in there. Arm moves out about that far. This one, of course, is hindered by the armor piece, so that's about as far out as you can get it. They both rotate all the way around. Single jointed elbow that do rotate around 90 degrees. The wrists do swivel around and do have the hinge. Doesn't hinge down a great amount. Hinges up just a little bit as well. And then on this side, same thing going on over here. It's just very hindered on the wrist hinge. It's almost non-existent. You really can't get a lot of movement out of either side. No waist rotation down at the bottom, but you do have that range of movement joint, which allows not a lot of pivot like we see with some of them. He can rotate around on it, and then he can crunch forward very little. You can just barely get him to move forward, and it leaves that little lip back there, and then you barely get him to move back. So really, that is about all you get in there. So not a huge amount of range of movement up here on this joint. The hips move out a great amount and get him all the way out like so. He'll kick forward a great amount, even with the holster over there. And same thing over here, he can kick forward a little bit further. And he can kick back, but it does rotate out around when you kick it back because of his butt back there. Upper leg rotation is a little tight on both sides, and this one is hindered. It does make the holster do a funky thing when you start rotating that side around. Double jointed knees moved back a great amount. No boot cut rotation down here, but the feet do have the hinge on them, which hinge all the way down like so and up like so, which is really nice. And then they do have that ankle pivot on them as well. And here's our Kanan compared to a couple other 6-inch scale Black Series figures, with our original Trilogy Han over here on the left and our Ahsoka Tano that we just previously reviewed on the right. And you can see Kanan standing in taller than both these, and he's measuring in at just over 6 inches tall here. But I want to say he's a tall character on the Rebels cartoon, so I think they scale okay together. And here's our Kanan compared to a couple other guys that like to dress up like stormtroopers quite often. We have our Han Solo from the Black Series over here on the left, and our 6-inch scale Luke Skywalker over here on the right. Looking at these guys all together, it makes me really contemplate seeing if I can find an extra Kanan just to swap that head out for a stormtrooper and get that look we see so often in the cartoon. And I wonder if Hasbro will give us yet another one of these builds like we got with Han, Luke, and Finn. So we'll see what happens. And just for another comparison, here he is next to our Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy movie version Star-Lord over here on the left, and our Hasbro Marvel Legends Bucky Cap over here on the right. One thing I do want to say, I really love it when characters have a place to put all their accessories. That's why I really love both these guys. Then maybe that's just my obsessive compulsiveness, but I like when everything has a place to go, especially when it's all the things they carry. So I really like that on Kanan as well. And these guys really scale well together also. And lastly, here he is next to our Black Series 6-inch scale Kylo Ren over here on the left, and our 6-inch scale Shorty Short Snow Troopers from the Black Series on the right. And wrapping up real quickly, overall I gotta say I really love this Kanan figure, and I love the way he turned out. Definitely a lot of sculpt, a lot of paint work went into the figure, and I just think Hasbro did an awesome job with it overall. Definitely doesn't look like the Rebels cartoon character, nor do I think it should. It is an interpretation to make it fit into that film universe. And I mentioned this a little bit in my Ahsoka Tano review, that I think this is definitely the difference between what we see in Marvel Legends, between comic versions and the movie versions. And I think these scale pretty well together. You can definitely use them in the display with the movie characters. Kanan's a little bit tall, but he's a tall character in the cartoon, and we really haven't seen him stand up next to Han or Luke to measure that. So, you know, I think it came out pretty well scale-wise, and I think it actually came out a little better than probably even Ahsoka Tano did in comparison to the original trilogy characters. So, overall, the other thing I got to say is I really love playing with this character and playing around with this figure, getting him into all kinds of cool poses. He just has a lot of posability and a lot of freedom because he doesn't have any robes or anything like that sculpted on or anything. So you can really get him in some dynamic poses and get his lightsaber around and his gun. Just really, really fun to pose around and play with. So for that fact alone, I just really have to rate the character a buy. I think just like with Ahsoka Tano, this is going to be one of those that you really should grab up if you see them in the wild and definitely get the figure. I think there's a lot of love for the Rebels cartoon right now, so I think this guy's going to be an easy snag for anybody that sees him. So I definitely recommend picking it up if you can find him. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If so, please give me a big thumbs up. Facebook, Twitter, Toy Art links in the description below as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you soon.